Out of the 4 most mysterious characters in Kingdom Hearts, Marluxia is by far the most developed. He was originally just the main antagonist of Chain of Memories, sort of a baby Xemnas. But over time, Nomura added a lot of interesting stuff to his backstory. A long time ago, there was a boy named Lorian. He lived a normal life. He had a sister named Strelitzia, and he wanted more than anything to master the Keyblade. He was a hero. He fought the Heartless and gathered Lux, just like the rest of the Dandelions. He was a great fighter, and he usually got done with his missions by noon. He was a normal kid, but that all changed when his sister went missing. He didn't have time to deal with the responsibility of leading the last remnants of humanity from their digital lifeboat. All that mattered to him was finding his sister. He questioned everyone, and eventually was led by his sister's friend Elrena to where his sister had died. With the help of his fellow Union leaders, he learned the truth. Ventus killed his sister. He was furious and tried to get revenge. But while Ventus was in a coma, Lorium regretted what he had said. He regretted wanting revenge. He knew that it wasn't Ventus's fault. It was the darkness that puppeted him. He fought hard, but he was very overconfident. Eventually, he lost to Maleficent and the darkness. If it wasn't for Ventus waking up, Lorium probably would have died back then. But luckily, he escaped that digital world as it all fell apart. He spent some time living in the Dwarven woodlands. It's not clear just how long he lived on his own, how he was destroyed by the darkness, or how he managed to show up so much farther in the future. But eventually, Lorium died. His body turned into an empty husk, a nobody in the world that never was. He was found by Braig and Zaldin, and given a new name, Marluxia. Now that he was unable to use the Keyblade, he was given a scythe, and he spent 358 days doing what he always did, killing Heartless. He didn't remember why, but he hated them. But more than the darkness, he hated being controlled. He and Larxene were close. They weren't quite sure why, but deep down they knew that they were in each other's previous lives, that Larxene knew his sister. They worked well together, and eventually came up with a plan. Maybe they should be in charge. And so, the coup began. Their plan was simple and clean. Use Naminé to erase Sora's mind, and manipulate him into killing everyone else. They would rule the army of nobodies. Their plan almost worked, and they would have been the big bads of the series, if it wasn't for Axel. No one ever trusted Axel, but he always managed to nudge events in his favor. And by the end of it all, with Axel's help, Sora ended Marluxia. He was defeated by a kid. He was gone again, angry and confused. Marluxia begged Xehanort for a chance for revenge, to give up his heart and mind again, so he could destroy those who wronged him. He couldn't remember his past. He didn't want to. It hurt him too much. It was far too much to bear. All that mattered was the present. Larxene tried to get him to start another coup, but all he cared about was stopping the Seven Lights, to get revenge for his demise. Sadly, in the end, he failed. As he slowly faded away, he began to remember, to fully become himself again. Now, he is Lorium again. It's unclear what role he will play in the next few games, but based on subtle dialogue in Kingdom Hearts 3, and his backstory that has been added in the mobile games, he is way more important than anyone has ever realized. Especially considering his sister is a major character in Kingdom Hearts 4. Marluxia's design was always a favorite of mine, basically just Xemnas but with pink hair, but he always seemed more important under the surface. He was a Grim Reaper, a beautiful rose whose thorns stung. Anyway, I'm Aloney the Bard, and that's what I know about him. Thanks for listening. Bye. Whew. I've started to notice a pattern when it comes to Nomura's writing. He creates this empty period of time, kind of like how Star Wars has different eras, and he time jumps. And in each of these time jumps, that allows the characters to change based on the information we learn. So we meet all the organization guys slowly, and we learn about their nobodies. But then, a few years later, he peels back the curtain and we learn who they were as people. It's a fascinating way to develop characters, to make them one-dimensional at first and then slowly add dimension when needed. It's a fascinating way of writing, and I don't think anything else quite does it that way. Anyway, check out this other video I made. It's about how Axel stopped them and the toll it took on him. I made it a while back. It's pretty fun. Bye.